Hello, guys. Welcome to the Keyard podcast with yours and me truly, KB and Rob. I always botch this, but we'll keep on going. So
yours and me truly. That's not a phrase.
I blame my executive dysfunctioning. So, and thank you straight off the bat with Michael Swinney for raiding us. That is purely
nice work, Michael. Nice work.
And it's a bit of a special episode today because, episode 25. You got to make something out of that, haven't you?
It's we've reached a somewhat of a milestone, I guess, right?
I'm just happy that it's been going on for so long and it's just clicked and the chemistry's there. Me and Rob are in madly deep love.
But anyway, so today's episode, we have sponsors. Today's episode is sponsored by the new spin-off from Jackbox, which are Jackbox VAR packs, where basically no one has any fun and you just sit around really uncomfortable and angry and just debate for hours on end about whether life is even worth living. So
I thought you said Vardy pack then. I was like, oh.
No, Jamie Vardy.
You're just going to accuse someone.
He does know to have a party, to be fair.
Vardy party. Yeah, so...
I suggest, shall we just get the football stuff out of the way now, right? Because... thanks for the subscription to KB, Michael. Much appreciated.
Oh, yes. I still need to do that resubscribe one, but we'll keep at it. We'll keep at it.
Right then, so... let's just get football out of the way first, right? Because I do not fancy being in a mood for the rest of this podcast. Oh man, it can get you so down sometimes, especially when there is such grave injustice within the football league system when it comes to refereeing decisions based upon VAR. And that Luiz decision for Wolves' first penalty is one of the worst I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't care if he's the last man, right? It's fine if he has to go for that infringement. But, you know, how is it then that Sadio Mane can elbow one of our players in the face and get away scot-free? You know, and that isn't deemed worthy enough in the eyes of the letter of the law in football to seek retrospective dismissal or something, you know. I'm fed up with it. I'm fed up with the rules. I'm fed up with how Arsenal are doing at the moment because we're recording this as we're playing Aston Villa.
Mm-hmm.
And we are still losing. It's probably going to finish soon. And Cedric being a fucking idiot. Giving the ball, doing a misplaced pass to Gabriel, and having Ollie Watkins score from that.
Yeah, we were discussing beforehand about like both our teams at the moment are in this calamity of disarray, and it's really weird to see because I even looked at the stats because like Twitter shows them all the time. One interesting fact that I saw was that Jose in the last 12 games has had just one less win than Poch before Poch got sacked, which is quite interesting to see that sort of thing. But I think it's that point now I've seen from Daniel Levy's point of view that he's not gonna sack Jose yet. He still has faith in him. He's also basing it on the West Brom challenge. If we lose that game, then he is going to be in more trouble. But from what I've seen,
you really think Jose is going to be serious trouble if he loses another one?
I think so because it'll be 4 consecutive losses for one. It's a repeat of the first part of the season for us. Last season, and it goes to show that in a way that it's not necessarily down to the managers themselves because Poch tried something, hasn't quite got there. Jose's tried things, they've got there at times, but then they've bottled it again. So the question is, who can you really question? Is it the management of the club themselves? Are they not backing the managers enough? Even Jose, like I don't know whether or not Jose even wanted Gareth Bale in the first place, because, I mean, Jose is this kind of guy that if he doesn't see someone performing to his liking, then he's going to omit them for more than just one match.
I do sometimes wonder why we appointed Arteta ahead of more experienced tacticians as managers, because he just does not have a clue about tactics sometimes.
Yeah.
And he doesn't inspire confidence in his players.
Yeah, I mean, you see it with Mourinho, like when he was at Man U, it was very much that, outing the players and things like that. And even Jose's spoken out and he said that he's playing with a better team at Tottenham compared to the players he had at Man U. I don't know how true that is, because at the moment, like, you never know when he's telling mind games or he's not. You don't know when he's being completely serious or he's trying to hide something. I think Jose's a kind of guy who prefers not to speak, as he would, but that usually means that there probably is more going on behind the scenes than we know about. And I think I've written. I think at the moment I've written the Premier League off. We'd have to get a chance at being in the top four. We would have to win quite a few matches now, because Man City are like 13 points ahead of us. Liverpool,
they're running away with it. I think.
Yeah,
I think they are going to run away with it for the rest of the season.
So.
To be honest,
Liverpool, they I think they're going to have.
I think the cracks are definitely starting to show with Liverpool, and I think without Van Dijk, it's really, it can't be understated how much of a blow it was losing him.
Yeah,
and it's just always it's kind of funny to see how all these copites all blaming Jordan Pickford for the downfall of their season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's
opposed to any like tactical discrepancies.
Yeah,
that might have taken place.
Like when I was watching the game on Thursday, the Chelsea game, you could just see it with the players themselves. There was not much movement going on in that midfield, and it really made you question how exactly what is going through the minds of these players that they don't have that drive to want to win, like even in a derby of all things. And Ndombele, he was trying his best to get it through, but Sissoko was just dawdling. And then you had the allowance of Mason Mount to create loads of chances. Dyer's stupid, if I can quote Randy Orton, stupid mistake.
Stupid.
Because if he wants to be a go ahead and become a breakdancer, be my guest, but that does not happen on the football pitch. No way. Okay, it's just like. We at Tottenham TV said the same thing, that Dyer he has these moments where he plays really well throughout the match, and then he does silly mistakes like that costs us the game. And it's a big thing with him. It's been a big thing with players like Ben Davis. Toby's a lot more solid as a defender. Aurier's he's been better this season. We are definitely missing Reguilon a lot, as well as Lo Celso, because if I can imagine Lo Celso and Ndombele up there, it would be great. But I think Højbjerg is a future captain in my mind. Højbjerg, most definitely, and it just goes to show that he should be the kind of person that there should be people around him that should be actually being able to listen to him when he says move up or move down or do all this kind of stuff. But going back to Liverpool, I've seen the formation change without Van Dijk, because Van Dijk was a key player allowing them to press higher because of how consistent he was in that defender spot, and now Liverpool have been forced to track back a bit and find different routes to get to the attack. So it has been difficult for them. So for them to still be in the top four, despite that like horrific change and having to put Jordan Henderson in centre back, I think it's I would give them.
I mean, they've got an excuse, Liverpool. Their squad is paper thin now with all the injuries they've had to all their defenders.
Yeah,
Tierney's out. Okay, sure. He shouldn't be that crucial to our team. We should be a unit.
Yeah. You know,
one player goes missing or Aubameyang, has to leave for personal reasons, we suddenly go to shit. It should not work like that. We should have a squad of competent backups. And Jordan said, I might disagree, but he doesn't even think Arteta is even to blame. He's doing the best he can with a bad bunch of players. Arsenal shouldn't be relying on kids. Probably the worst squad out of the big six by some mark. I mean, we have our spine. That's the thing. We have Aubameyang up / Lacazette up top. We have Partey and Ødegaard and players like that anchoring the midfield. And we have a competent centre-back pairing of Rob Holding and Gabriel, right?
Yeah.
But there's just something not galvanizing with the team, and it's so frustrating because you just cannot for the life of you figure out what it is.
Yeah. I feel like we need more naturally talented players under our belt, not the ones that if they don't work as hard as needed, they're just going to lose their confidence and they're just going to cost the team greatly. And that seems to that seems to be what's happening a lot of the time with Spurs is there's one I think there's lack of symmetry on the pitch as well, because on the left-hand side you got Reguilon and Son, and then you've got Aurier in the back, but along that right-hand side there's not really a lot of options. So when you've just got Son, the options are Son and Kane to potentially score, and maybe Ndombele, it leaves the opposition being able to predict that. And
I've just seen that we brought. Sorry to interrupt.
No worries.
I've just seen that we've brought on Willian for Partey, so he's going to save the day for us.
Oh really? Oh yeah, wonderful. Let's. You need a shovel.
He fills me with less confidence than if we brought bloody semi-retired Eddie McGoldrick on instead of Partey. I mean, it's literally, what is he even going to contribute?
I was going to say, like, hopefully Ødegaard spices the team up more and helps complement Partey, but
he hasn't played since June.
He hasn't played since June.
He needs a bit of practice, and the only way he's going to get a bit of practice is if he starts some games and gets some games under his belt.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I don't know, Xhaka is a consistent starter. I just never ever thought Xhaka was any good for us.
Yeah.
I
mean, I just
it's just thoroughly inconsistent, you know.
Just to respond to Michael there, don't think the signing of Doherty has worked out too well at Spurs. I agree. Like Højbjerg had a dodgy game against Everton, but after that he fitted into the system and he's doing a lot better. Even when Spurs are playing terribly, Højbjerg's he's always potential man of the match for a lot of their games, and like he has been a blessing at Spurs. But Doherty, he just struggles to track back. He struggles to be, he struggles to be as competent as Aurier. And the only good thing that's come out of Doherty is that he's given Aurier a kick up the arse to do better. And that's the result of what's happened. And Aurier is just, when in the first game against Liverpool, the amount of trouble he gave Mane was outstanding. And I really hope he stays for the long run, Aurier, because he's built like a truck as well.
He had a dodgy start, Aurier, didn't he? And now he seems to have finally landed on his feet.
Yeah, I don't know whether.
Whereas we have players who had dodgy some of our signings over the past few years that have had dodgy starts and just haven't managed to. They're still having dodgy starts several seasons later.
Yeah, maybe it was the pressure.
Nicolas Pepe, right?
But yeah, maybe it was the trouble of having to live up to Kieran Trippier after he left, and now it's kind of like, well, Aurier, if you got to boost that confidence of yours and gather your composure, and then Doherty comes in and then he takes the reins of being like the lead right back. So it's an interesting one. I give it that.
Yeah,
but that's pretty much what I have to say. Liverpool game awful, Chelsea game awful, and there were points where you knew like we have it in us, but for some reason a lot of the players are just lazy on the pitch. They don't want to press high. They just want to wait for it to get back down to the box so then they can steal the ball from the opposition, and that just doesn't work. Because
we're just at the moment we're just doing that classic Arsenal thing of we got a good run together, good solid run of a couple of undefeated games on the bounce. And then just at the very threshold of when they start to get your hopes up, the Jenga tower comes crashing down again.
Yeah.
You know? I feel for Bees because he got up at 4:30 a.m. his time to watch this game.
Mm.
And 2 minutes in, he gets a rude awakening, shall we say.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm just knowing our luck. You know, we'll probably end the season with a Europa League trophy, and that'll cover. I mean, I'm not expecting it, but you know, it feels like we do the same thing every season. We get a domestic cup to cover up the fundamental flaws in our game. You know.
Yeah. Okay.
And it will be another summer of mediocrity and another summer of key areas not being addressed, not being able to spend money because the Cronkies won't put their fat, greasy, grubby American hands in their pockets. You know, it's just unbelievably frustrating.
Yeah,
really.
That's what makes me wonder
being
why,
an Arsenal fan over the past 10 years, shall we say?
That's why I feel like in our terms that why we're so afraid to press up high is because we don't trust our defense that much. And like you could say that Spurs have conceded little, but they've still drawn a heavy amount of games because they've conceded late in the game, and that gives you 1 point, not 3. So it's not good enough.
I mean, shall we move on to something a bit?
Please.
So a bit
normally we start out with
like I said, I wanted to get the football chat out the way because it's particularly today, but given everything that's going wrong for us at the moment. So in general, how have you been, KB?
I've been all right. I mean, 50 viewer raid in my Among Us one in the week. That was wonderful. I can show a clip.
That's great stuff.
But how's it going for you as well? Whilst I get that up.
You know what? It's actually been a really sorry, I've just seen a Twitch message. He's flipped to a different window that says, "Welcome to the party, Daniella Westbrook." Let's figure out what it is you're into. Well, you don't want to know what Daniella Westbrook's into.
You can't see that on the podcast, but I'm not typing the nicest things in.
How big this is.
So naughty.
Yeah, it's essentially I had a bit of an up and down week, really. First half of the week was a bit crap.
So much room for activities.
I was really struggling with tech issues. I've also now made the jump to OBS Studio.
How's it working for you so far?
Yeah, it's going all right, actually. It really is. The alerts work a lot smoother on there. Still a few gremlins in the system, but hopefully those will even themselves out over time. But I've also incorporated like trigger fire alerts, like sound alerts. So whenever you redeem a hydrate, it comes up with a picture, an image of Father Jack from Father Ted saying, "Freaking water!"
Yeah, I mean, people watching may have noticed this, but I have been like showing just like dynamic displays of like me, just the camera of me and just the camera of Rob, and it's because it's a 25th episode. I wanted to see if we can make some tweaks. I know at the moment,
I think just the transitions, just the transitions on that, KB. I've been watching it a bit, and it's coming up like rather than the big white kind of fading out thing, it's coming up with like the two windows, like.
Yeah, that's the thing I was going to say. It's a bit. I'll see why that is, and if I can just get them to load as soon as possible. So I'm not too sure why that is, but
so yeah, it's we'll get all that sorted out. I think.
Yeah, definitely
on our respective channels.
But it's just.
But, I mean, to start with, basically, I was just in a bit of a mood with things not working and buying the wrong things, and it turns out the Mac battery I bought was for the wrong type of Mac, so I've got to send that back to Amazon. So I was in a weird headspace with technology that was bringing me down a bit. And then come Friday stream, it was great. I got loads of people hanging out. Blaine, the absolute legend, gifted 5 subs, and I got to show off my new 5 gift sub alert. Got a resubscription and got my donation goal of a ring light met.
Nice.
Of single-handedly by Murray Man and Rosie Droid.
Oh wow! That's good. That's
This
good
mod-
news.
Oh, and also I helped Greg actually set up his debut stream.
Yeah.
Gregcellent, is our
Yes.
compadre, the sort of encyclopedia of 80s metal, shall we say?
Yeah.
Helped him set up his alerts and helped him set up his overlays and things. In fact, Daniella Westbrook actually popped in.
She did
for a visit.
Oh yeah, she's like, I think. Well,
Do you want to show that? Do you want to show that clip?
I'm on my way to showing it, but she was so delighted to see him, like, biggest fan. You can never get enough of it, can you? It's just wonderful. No. Although it wasn't Daniella Westbrook, it was Daniella Westbrook.
Brooke. I'll get him to sort that out.
Brooke,
right.
Let's play some croquet.
And which clip are we going to play first? This one?
Yeah, why not?
There's something about a hexagonal drum. Daniella Westbrook. Whoever done that, you're a god amongst men. Yeah, please clip that. Daniella Westbrook.
Notice he's made me a moderator on his channel as well.
Yeah, and you twat, you timed me out.
Yeah. Well, the reason I timed KB out was because he chose to play Starships We Built This City on Rock and Roll, which is the worst song in human existence.
I timed him out for personal reasons. So, yeah, essentially, we got back into... Okay, so it's been registered that they've all been killed. Greg, you monster! How you doing, my friend?
What, Daniella?
I'm doing alright,
That's such a scary...
but she hasn't got all the money yet for the drugs.
Sorry.
Don't know a bloody Wally, I'm sorry. Just make sure you reply, alright?
I haven't actually seen this clip yet.
I want to ask again. I will ask again, because I'm so fucking in love with you. Your agent is going to want a word.
I'll tell you what, when Greg gets affiliate, I can guarantee there's going to be a Daniella Westbrook emote.
There will be. Oh, no doubt. So the last clip then was the 50 raid, and it made what I basically want to show is how fucking bonkers it made my stream go with alerts. Hello. Is it
Oh, wow.
Okay. Hello, guys. Hello, 50 people. Well, I think that is the record. 50 raiders. Let me talk. You do that. How's everyone doing? Cheers for the raid. Trying. Yeah, guys. It's going well. It's going well. Nice to see everyone here. You notice I fluster. It's just an endless supply of the new alerts that you were all... Follow me. No follow for follow, thank you. I'll just let him speak for me, shall I? Believe in a thing called following. Just go and him. Click on that heart. Follow you. Didn't expect that to happen. Yeah, it made my webcam go out of sync so many times in a minute. For God's sake.
Those bloody alerts are so scary.
I'm good, Elena.
I can't even tell you.
That's the idea.
Terrifying.
I'm trying to scare people away from my channel. That's the idea of everything. So yeah, happy days.
It makes you look like you got like a Fu Manchu tash as well for some reason on most of them.
Yeah.
How long have we both been streaming on Twitch for, respectively? You've been streaming a lot longer than I have, but
yeah, but very inconsistently at the start, and then I developed a schedule 6 months ago.
It's like we still. What really comforted me is the fact that Matt Hafey of Trivium did his stream. You know, and he's one of the faces of Twitch. And even he was having technological issues.
Yeah, it's what happens when it's live. You know, the
joys of live broadcasting, eh?
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's live performance. It's good to prepare, like you've prepared, but you don't always know that something is going to go wrong. But it's sod's law, they call it. So that's all you can really do about it.
We can do. Right. So, should we talk about the Rumble?
Absolutely. So, initial thoughts, Rob?
Well, I'm very, very happy with the result of the men's rumble. I know people would. There's been a school of thought on social media. Oh, who knew? People unhappy at wrestling on social media. Go figure. That they were just like, well, Edge doesn't deserve it, and they should have got Daniel Bryan should have won it because it's his last. It's like who's the bigger draw in the eyes of the mainstream, casual wrestling fan?
But like, what's
people know who Edge is. People don't really know who Daniel Bryan is.
You don't. I don't think you really make someone win because of anything to do with pity. Like Edge, fair play.
He worked hard to come back.
He worked hard to come back, and
being retired and being nearly paralyzed.
Yeah, it's not
from wrestling.
It's not like when Batista won the Royal Rumble and he just disappeared completely and not to be seen again, and then he comes back
exactly
instantly favored by the company when Daniel Bryan was the person at the time to win it. So it's
especially when Christian turned up in the 20s somewhere. Yeah. I never thought I'd ever see Christian wrestle ever again.
Yeah.
I know his injury wasn't as severe as Edge's, but concussions are no joke. Like that can cause permanent, lasting damage.
Yeah.
If you continue wrestling, the fact that he came back and he looked great, he lasted till like the final 4. Mm-hmm. It's pretty amazing, really.
Yeah,
just that hug in the center of the ring of Edge and Christian, tag team. I was going 5-second post. 5-second post. But I thought, in the Rumble, maybe not the best idea.
Yeah. I was just happy that they didn't let Randy Orton win again, because, that always baffled me. And, like, if you could
I love the tease they did, though, because I knew as soon as he went, off kayfabe injured, that he would come back at the very end and RKO Edge and potentially or RKO whoever was at the end and potentially throw him out.
Yeah.
So the fact that they even swerved on the swerve is Vince Russo levels of booking right there.
It was pretty obvious. I think that Orton was going to come back to the ring at some point and just deliver that. And WWE want to be predictable, unpredictable. Sometimes it falls over flat, but this time it just worked to perfection. And I said before the match, Katie asked me who did I think was going to win, and I instantly said I would like to see Edge win it, and lo and behold, I was like, bloody hell, yeah. And
Edge is, he's really, he's worked hard, like I said, and he's always been one of my favorites.
And despite looking
who he's going to face actually at WrestleMania is an interesting debate. I think we could probably have.
Would you prefer him to wrestle out of Drew McIntyre and Roman? If they are going to be the champions,
the logical wrestling booking 101 thing would dictate it would be Roman, because spear versus spear.
But at the same time, I think it just works better on paper. I feel like Drew McIntyre. I don't know.
What's going to be the bigger draw? Drew McIntyre versus Edge, or Roman Reigns versus Edge? Yeah, I think it's probably safe to say it's Roman Reigns versus Edge.
Plus, they have the more reality-based promos, so I think they would.
Excuse me.
Bless you. Bless you again. They would have I think they would have perfect chemistry in building up the match. I don't want to use the word perfect, but
competent chemistry.
But I feel like Drew McIntyre's would be a show of technical in-ring ability.
It was unfortunate, really, because I thought the match, just going back to the Rumble, I thought the match he had versus Goldberg was a bit of a stinker.
I think most matches with a Goldberg are that, to be honest.
His that jackhammer was horrendous, and I know that Bill could only go for 2 to 3 minutes tops before he's gassed. But come on, man,
Yeah, but overall, I'm perfect. I've been happy with the Royal Rumble result for the last few years now. I was happy when Seth Rollins won it. I was happy when Shinsuke won it. I was happy when Drew won it last year.
You know what? I completely forgot that Shinsuke won it.
Yeah, but did
he even win the match at Mania?
No, he was against AJ Styles, wasn't he? And he
lost.
And then so
that has got to be something. A Rumble winner. I can't think of many Rumble winners that won the Rumble and then didn't win at Mania.
You know what always fascinates me is that in promos leading up to the debut of someone, like Shinsuke, for example, you saw Vince hugging him, patting him on the back, saying, hello, how's it going? You know, really friendly. And then just a few years later, he's getting buried on the main roster. Like, what kind of swerve is that?
Because he's from New Japan, mate. He's from a rival company, and he's established in the rival company. Vince hates that.
Well, I mean, if I was running it, I'd show that this guy is going to work much better.
I wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, bloody hell!
Given how choppy your pee tie and tie.
Use it to the strength. Like, it's like, I don't know, Shinsuke coming to WWE and showing that he's better at WWE would be a fuck you to New Japan, better than just burying him. It's like, take back your trash.
Yeah, Mike Docks raised a good point. Story of Drew v. Sheamus for the title of Mania with their friendship and story, and I think the Raw title. Yeah. I imagine that's what they're going for.
Yeah, it would be broken.
I wouldn't mind Drew, him to face Jinder and Heath Slater or something. And I keep forgetting that Drew McIntyre was a member of Three-Man Band. Left for the first time.
I mean,
a lot of people forget that.
There's a guy. All those opinionated videos on YouTube now, and a lot of them are based on wrestling. Like, was CM Punk's title run good or bad? Was one, for example. One was about the history of Heath Slater's run and why everything's worked so well for him. Like, anything that Heath Slater has been given.
He's great. I always liked him.
Took the ball and ran it. So
yeah.
Brilliant.
It's just a shame he's not. He's in what is he in Impact now?
Is he?
I think so. Yeah, he's not with the company anymore. He got released last year. At some point.
Was that when they released a dozen
loads at once? Yeah. So what was I going to say about the Rumble? Oh yeah, I thought so. In conclusion with that, I guess I think it is going to be Edge versus Reigns, and Drew's going to face probably Sheamus, like Mike Doc said. But who knows? That could work out. I thought the women's Rumble was half decent as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Considering I've been so out of the loop of wrestling, and there's all these new people that are coming, like Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair, who I never even heard of, really. I kind of stopped watching wrestling full time at the time that Paige and Charlotte and Becky were still, really the only, people like Dana Brooke and Lana were around there. But now they've got all these colourful new characters in the women's division.
Yeah,
it's fantastic to see that there's so many competent female wrestlers in there, and Nia Jax.
That's definitely the odd one out. I mean,
her punches with what's her name? Is it Shayna Baszler?
Yeah,
I've never seen worse worked punches in maybe what's her name? Jenna Maraska in TNA, where she was like. But she wasn't a wrestler, so she's got no excuse. Nia Jax has been training for years and years and years as a wrestler. She must know at this point how to punch properly, do a worked punch properly. But no, it was horrendous.
Either that or somewhere down the line she got a hand transplant.
I don't know.
I don't know.
You don't know. You feel like she's a lost cause, really, at this point.
Yeah. I mean, up until Becky was the hot thing at that time, and I mean, figuratively.
Oh, of course.
Otherwise, Katie would murder me. But it is.
No, she was fantastic. She was basically Stone Cold Steve Austin.
But then obviously she had. Yeah, but obviously then she had to. She had to vacate the championship, and she had to go off for a little bit to look after her new baby. So she's doing that. I would love to see her come back, but obviously her family comes first, always. So
I don't think we're going to be seeing her back for a while, unfortunately.
I agree with
Seth's back, though. Seth returned.
Yeah, the Messiah.
I don't get this whole Messiah thing. Is this a new thing that
I didn't know Jesus had a son. First to Peter. I don't know.
Yeah. I was kind of when he returned. I was kind of like, Tom De Silva, what are you doing in the Royal Rumble?
Where's your red hair?
I don't get this whole Messiah thing he's doing.
I think it's because everyone used to say he was CrossFit Jesus, so they just kind of played off on that and turned him into proper
like
Jesus.
Shorty G, because everyone said Chad Gable was short.
Yeah, something along those
I
lines.
can't. He's not still Shorty G, is he? He wasn't in the Rumble, so I don't.
I don't know. Like Rumble and WrestleMania are like the ones that I always make sure I tune into, but
Yeah, for sure.
all around the rest of the year, I'm like I go in and out. Maybe I'll watch SummerSlam, maybe I won't. Depends on what's going on. But I think the fact that there's watch-alongs on Twitch now and all that kind of stuff, it does make it seem more entertaining.
Well,
Especially at
I
this
mean,
moment.
Bees was doing a watch along of it. He wasn't obviously streaming the actual Rumble, but he was doing like a live, thing that we all put up our versions of the network and watch it simultaneously with him reacting to it. And like it went on for a long time, but I enjoyed the hell out of it because we were hanging in my VC and Discord as well watching it. I thought the Roman Reigns Kevin Owens match was good as well. I love Kevin Owens. I think he's fantastic.
Yeah.
Just for a big guy to be that athletic, and the swanton he did off the forklift was really good. Yeah, he ran over Roman ran over Kevin Owens in a forklift, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
But at the very end, when Roman knocks out the referee and Heyman comes over trying to undo the handcuffs, it was excruciating to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, like, if you're on a table, you can't get counted to 10, can you? You have to be on the floor. Because I was thinking, when he was going up the forklift, I was like, oh, why didn't he just, like, trap Reigns under the forklift?
Yeah, do the what The Rock did with Man... Do what The Rock did with the Empty Arena match in 1999.
Yeah, I mean, you've already taken the stunner, so take something else.
It was stupidly cartoony, but it was brilliant. It's out there. Look up Rock versus Mankind Empty Arena match. The ending of that basically consists of Mankind in a forklift, dropping the forklift down on The Rock, so he's pinned to the ground, and the referee counts the pin.
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
I mean, I think the most cartoony thing I've seen in a Last Man Standing match was when Batista got his legs taped to the corner by John Cena and he couldn't get up. So the ref counted him to 10. So he wasn't out cold or anything. He was just like, ah!
Yeah, I know.
It's brilliant.
Ridiculous.
But that was the PG when things were just too silly.
Yeah, so the Heyman thing, it was a shame he botched that. Because it was a relatively good match up until the finish.
Yeah, I mean...
And you'd think we're a guy of Paul's experience, he would know, they should test it out beforehand, or maybe even get some bolt. He could bring some bolt cutters or something.
Yeah.
Or better yet, don't use actual handcuffs. Use trick handcuffs. It's like, but that's why we love it sometimes, for all the shite that goes on,
Yeah, I still think like the best. Murray Man mentioned in the camera angle. I think the best.
Yeah, the camera. Presumably you're talking about the Rock Mankind thing, the first-person camera angle. It's utterly ludicrous whenever they do a first-person camera angle of like a segment or a match, because obviously it takes you well away from it. But I love it. I mean, I give them the benefit of the doubt nowadays. What with the likes of the Fiend and Alexa Bliss, Alexa Bliss during the Women's Rumble, supposedly, I haven't caught up with this at all, but she's supposedly like the Fiend's sidekick, and she undergoes like a transformation in the ring.
Yeah,
that's just utterly ludicrous.
It's
but like, kayfabe wise, obviously, it's quite entertaining.
Yeah, she may not be the best wrestler that I've seen, but I would say she is one hell of an actress. And I think that's what pays off so well when it comes to that sort of gimmick. Just as long as the storyline adds up to everything, it should be okay. But going back to The Rock and Mankind, I'm just thinking the cameraman is just Rock's telling him, "Here, sit on the Rock's lap, aim down."
Yeah, I know that this image of just a guy like squatting down with a camera on top of the Great One, looking down. Yeah. Oh man.
But
it's the best. It's the best.
So what else?
Let's go back to the women's Rumble again quickly. I honestly, I was really impressed with Rhea Ripley.
Yeah,
I think she could be a superstar. And she's super tall as well.
Yeah, personally, I preferred the women's Royal Rumble more than the men's. If I'm,
I think a lot of people did. Yeah,
I just thought the amount of talent that was in there. It was
Victoria coming back. That was a nice surprise.
Yeah, and
it looks like she can still go as well. So
yeah,
Credits to
I remember I was watching with Katie, and Shayna Baszler came out. She was like, she's scary as fuck.
her. She was a proper MMA fighter, right? Shayna Baszler.
Yeah.
I don't know much about her, obviously, because I'm out of the loop, like I said. And there was what's her name? Is it Billy Kay
Billy
with
Kay.
the clipboard?
Oh, what, the one who said, "Oh, we'll form a tag team," sort of
Yeah,
thing.
her.
Yeah.
Is that Billy Kay?
That's Billy Kay. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
So I
Australian
thought her
one.
segment, her kind of gimmick is quite funny.
Yeah. It just
And there's all these NXT talents that are also coming out that I'd never even like. There's the one that rocked up in a tank with like an army helmet on. Do you remember that? What's her bloody name?
I must have missed that.
She's from NXT, right?
Right.
But I mean, who are you impressed by women's wrestler wise during the Rumble? Whilst I look this up, who it was?
Am I allowed to say Toni Storm? I think Toni Storm is one of them, definitely.
Yeah. Well, Tom's mate, Toni Storm.
Yeah. I just love Toni. I think she's fantastic, and I saw her at the.
Did we see her at NXT?
I saw
a download.
I don't know. I remember seeing her at Takeover Cardiff, which had one of my favorite main events ever with Tyler Bate versus Walter. That was a fantastic match. But yeah, Toni Storm's match. I think it was like a tag team. I can't remember who else was in it. I think like you can definitely see with the women wrestlers, or just with the men's as well. Just anyone, who sells well and who doesn't, and because there wasn't as much emphasis on the female wrestlers back in the year 2000.
Definitely.
They weren't expected to sell as well and stuff. They were expected to have that fan service.
I think it's great. Like, they're getting as much of a billing, an equal shot as the male wrestlers nowadays.
Yeah,
I think it's fantastic.
It's
Shotzi Blackheart is her name. Yeah, she came out in a tank.
Mm.
It's quite something. She had a kind of very striking look,
Yeah. So it's, I mean, like all that kind of stuff. Like Charlotte performed really well in it. Sasha, Bailey she looks.
Oh, what did you think of the
scary
Sasha Carmella match? Actually, incidentally.
Oh yeah,
I thought that was pretty good. I thought Carmella looked great, actually. Like,
Carmella's
considering
gotten better and better.
I hadn't seen her in a while. Last time I saw her perform, she was like still had a Queen of Staten Island gimmick. From Enzo and Cass.
Yeah, the less we say about them, the better.
The less we say about them, the better. Obviously, yeah. But
yeah,
she was like, I thought she looked brilliant, and I love the fact she's kind of got this manservant gimmick as well. So like catch her, she falls out the ring.
Yes, yeah, I like that. It takes me back to the James Ellsworth era of things as well.
Well, we don't want to talk about him either. I don't think. She's got. Hopefully, nothing bad is going to happen to this bloke. Because she's got to stop associating herself with these horrible people.
Well, as long as he doesn't botch Styles Clash, that'd be great. But yeah, I mean, did we have anything else in terms of the Royal Rumble, or
I think? Hang on, I think we covered all the matches pretty much. But I was just, I really enjoyed watching it. I really did.
I think one thing I will
considering
say, because
there's no crowd, like it could have easily been one of those things like the kind of flow of the Rumble is dictated by the crowd only, and if there's no crowd, then it's not going to be very good.
Yeah, I think
honestly, I thought it was great. Inside
the arena, you can see that there's probably no like ambience or whatsoever for the wrestlers, but that might make it easier for them in a way to communicate with each other. But at the same time, it's probably like that sort of like that energy from the crowd will probably help them on. So I think what they've done with people's webcams and stuff is very, very clever. And it really, like, I think that was my main problem with WrestleMania last year. Like, not WWE's fault whatsoever. It's more the pandemic, but it just didn't feel that atmospheric as a WrestleMania, which is probably why they keep into the same Pirates theme as last year to make it more, so they can work with it more for this year's WrestleMania. So I think even if we don't have a proper crowd, they'll find a way to make it so that it's as atmospheric as it can possibly be.
Oh, there is one more thing actually. Carlito coming back.
Yes,
and looking absolutely shredded.
I know. I've seen I saw like loads of those YouTube videos where they say wrestlers who got jacked after leaving WWE, and he's one of them. Another one was
he's clearly been eating steroids instead of apples.
Yeah, another one was Vladimir Kozlov. Drew McIntyre was one of them because he didn't have as much muscle on him when he was first. Jinder Mahal. I mean, I'm just gonna call him Triangle Tits.
Brilliant. So I guess it was cool to see him back. Cool being the operative word, of course. Actually, my pick for the Rumble, Bees did like a little mini sweepstakes thing.
Yeah.
My pick was Matt Riddle.
Oh yeah.
And he's a polarizing figure. I've heard Matt Riddle. Like some people love him, but a lot of people hate him.
What fans you mean, or people in the back?
In general, like I know that Seth Rollins has freely admitted that him and Matt Riddle do not get along.
Yeah, but this is Seth Rollins we're talking about. He's
then again, Seth couldn't get on with anyone.
But then again, him and Punk don't get along, and CM Punk is also quite polarizing.
Exactly,
people. So it's a chain, it's a domino.
I think he's got a unique, the whole beach shorts and like he doesn't wear any boots or any wrist pads or anything. He's virtually naked out there.
But people have been dying for something different, and I think Matt.
Yeah, he's something different, and he's I don't know. Maybe people think his promos are a bit obnoxious, But I don't know. I thought he looked. This is my first exposure to his wrestling style, and he looked half decent. I thought,
Who else?
They're clearly going to do something with him and Daniel Bryan, I think.
Yeah.
For Mania.
Who else covered the ears when Jillian Hall came out? It's just. I horrible memories of that.
Oh,
but Matt Riddle's wife,
the boogeyman eating the mole off Jillian's face.
Oh god! If that just looked like a little brain. What kind of mole is that supposed to be? It's those little sweet burgers that you get in a pick-a-mix or something. It looked like that.
Yeah.
But Matt Riddle's wife badmouthed Becky too. I did not know that. Okay.
Oh, I didn't know that either, actually.
And they've also got 15,000 fans in for NFL games, and they are bringing fans in at Tampa Stadium.
Well, good luck with that. I mean, I very much doubt that's going to happen, but good luck with that.
I don't know. America's going to be a bit different. I don't know what America's stance on the vaccine and
let's not get into that.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on.
I think we'll just hope that Mania has fans, but I'm not really so sure it's actually going to be that way. But Mania is looking like an interesting prospect after that Rumble. So
yeah,
there we go.
All right,
then. So you wanted to cover a new. Should we? Is this a Reddit segment or is this just a segment in general that we can discuss?
What you
about the cartoons?
Ah, yes. This came out. When did this emerge? It was one of our. It was like a Jackbox game, wasn't it? This week that we were playing, and we were talking about cartoons we watched as kids. And I was thinking, okay, why didn't myself and Rob talk about cartoons we used to watch as kids? Because I mean, there was a wide array. Like, how old are you now, Rob? 28.
28, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm 27. So back in our day, there was like, back in my day, there was Cartoon Network, Jetix, and Fox Kids, and Nickelodeon.
Basically, it was the tail end of the 90s and the kind of start of the early 2000s. I guess.
So I mean,
it was the prime optimum time.
Yeah. So
to be a kid.
So yes. As well as chat letting us know what cartoons were like your favourites, I think the best thing that we can do is list our top 3 either best or most memorable.
Oh man, well I didn't actually get Cartoon Network until because we didn't really have digital telly until like a few years, like until I was like about 9 or 10, I would say.
Yeah.
You know, it was always BBC stuff
CBeebies.
or like Milkshake on Channel 5. Do you remember that?
That I don't particularly remember, to be honest. I
It
remember
was like
CITV.
yeah, it was back in the days when Channel 5 was really grainy. It was the grainy channel.
Oh, so like I don't know, re-airing Doctor Who or something like that, and something else.
Well, no. I mean grainy in terms of like the image quality wasn't good and it was always grainy.
So
And on Milkshake you had like bunch of random things, but mainly I was and like I think ITV as well. You had things like Art Attack and things in terms of kids programs. I guess as a kind of like preemptive discussion thing, I guess we could go through just children's programs in general. But like, I always remember things like Demon Headmaster, which would be on just before you went to school.
I think those sorts of things, like the things that you were if you were waiting for your parents to pick you up and they'd be on CITV or something. Those were the things I didn't really like, and especially the things the bloody learning things that they got you to watch in class, like Maths Mansion. I was just like,
oh, El Nombre! Don't diss El Nombre, mate.
Who's that?
He's my G.
Who's El Nombre?
It was like El Nombre was like a claymation thing where it was like about numbers and maths.
Oh,
and
right.
he was like an anthropomorphic chipmunk who was like a Zorro type character.
Yeah.
It was a bizarre program, but helped with my maths, I guess.
I remember. So yeah, in terms of maths, well, school-wise, I think the Welsh shows they found to enable us to teach Welsh were funny. We had Ben Bug and Brine, which was Ben the brainless scarecrow, or something like that, and it was just But when I think back to it these days, it was basically a scarecrow come to life, and he was in this hut, and he hid in the cupboard, and watched kids come in and talk Welsh and then tell the viewers what they were speaking about. And when you think about that as an adult, it
that's
seems
really creepy.
So
In
dodgy.
retrospect.
But then in the last episode, he starts laughing, and then they find out that he's in the cupboard. So he's like, "Oh, I got no friends." Oh, so they go and play. They go and play. They go and play.
I don't want to know what they
go
off and play, mate.
Golf. Yeah, they meet Gareth Bale and they just score a hole in one because for some reason they did a shot where he hits the golf ball and it literally goes woo, and then about to hit a tree, nope, curves like that, woo, hole in one.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Jordan is coming up with some blinding ones so far. So he's been saying Drake and Josh, which I used to watch as soon as we got.
Sorry.
It's spherical.
Yeah.
That was what was that one? Was that Nickelodeon? Yeah. We got Nickelodeon quite late on, but again, that opened up a whole host of things. So he's also got down Bob the Builder, Tweenies, Come Outside,
I love Bob the
Brum,
Builder.
Raven, Bill and Ben. I mean, they're all British staples as far as children's.
I used to love doing an impression of
shows.
What was his name? You know, the Onion Man. Spike was his name.
Yeah,
Spike?
Spud.
I want a piece of cake. Bob. Hi, Bob. Hello, Dipsy. Hello, Mac.
He used to just do that weird little thing.
Oh man,
Lofty was sounded like. How do I still remember these things?
How do you remember?
I remember weird things. I'm not. Gonna
There we
lie.
go. That's a new channel port redeemed. So it includes Harry Kane, Gareth Bale, the Joker, Bob the Builder and his mates. There we go. You should do channel point redeems for your impressions. I swear to God.
I should very much. I've got one for impressions.
Oh yeah, no, Raven Jordan. Let the challenge begin. He was really intimidating, Raven. You never saw him smile, which was unusual for a kids show. In that, the protagonist of said kids show never smiled.
For me, it was That's So Raven.
No, not That's So Raven. Imagine if they got, if there was a crossover between That's So Raven and Raven.
He passed the
amazing.
test. He passed the test. Oh, snap! So Rosie said Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. I love the dry humor in that. My favorite part in that was when they all fancied Frankie, and she goes on a date with this guy, but then they all disguise, and Blue's the one who's talking, and it's like, what's your name then? Orlando Blue. Yes.
I never really watched that show, actually. I think that was just after my cut-off point. Really. Yeah, and I started watching less kids stuff.
Yeah,
Shaolin Jackie Chan Adventures Murray Man, though, what a show! That was that was great. That was a CBBC thing.
I used to
that was around 2004, 3. I want to say that show was on CBBC.
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
Uncle was the best character in that, without a doubt. Hiya!
Yeah, what does Uncle say? Magic must defeat magic.
Magic talismans are not important.
Yes. Yeah, mate. I mean, Jordan. I said last night on Bees' stream that Busted was my first gig.
Mm.
I think my first kind of live show, one of my first live theatre shows, big theatre shows, was probably seeing the Tweenies at some venue or another when I had that song out on top of the Pops.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that song. But yeah, that was interesting. Come Outside, obviously, I remember with great fondness. With the polka dot aeroplane that she used to ride in.
Mm-hmm. Pippin,
and,
was it?
Cabby Karen.
What? Do you remember Pippin with the dog?
Oh yeah, of course.
Pippin.
That was Come Outside.
Fool
it was
of
called Come Outside. Sometimes I used to just call it Pippin because I couldn't remember the actual title.
Mm.
Bodger and Badger. That's one I've just remembered.
I never watched that.
You never watched Bodger and Badger, man?
Nope.
Oh my god. Mashed Potato.
I watched Brum Brum.
Brum
Brum. I watched. I did watch Saturday Morning on Sky One, where they had Pokemon. They had a Godzilla cartoon on there. And one called Mummies Alive, and then there was this. I can't remember I always forget the name of this cartoon because it's got some weird name, but it's about this emperor. This French emperor who froze and then thawed out in Alaska. I can't remember the name of it.
See, that's the thing. Initially, right, my trip was that I would watch the shows that were really uncool for kids to watch, Chucklevision.
Did you ever watch Super Duper Sumos?
Yes. Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Super Duper Sumos, big
butts. What was it? What was it called? That program that they would show Super Duper Sumo. They would show Super Duper I can't say Super Duper Sumos. I keep saying Shumos. They would show that. They would show So Little Time.
Oh, wasn't that with Mary-Kate and Ashley?
Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, yeah. And they would show something else. Watch My Chops, I think it was. With the talking dog.
Yeah.
And his sidekick Bernie.
Yeah. So Rosie's also said Shaolin Showdown. I loved that show because of I thought the animation was so great as well, and by the time Chase Young came into it, it just it was just shit just got real. I got into Avatar later on, Avatar Legend of Aang. I didn't watch it much when I was little. Teen Titans, without a doubt.
Mate, the OG Teen Titans was that. Well, I mean, we'll probably segue into. I mean, there's so many that we can talk about out of the non-cartoon shows, but I think we will move on now to our favorite cartoon shows.
Yeah,
the OG Teen Titans on. Was it Toonami? It was shown on, or was it Cartoon Network?
I think it started on Cartoon Network, then moved over to Toonami, but I could be wrong.
It was so good, and the theme tune as well is still in the back of my head.
So the one last thing, Beyblade, yes, definitely, Rosie. I used to collect Beyblades all the time. It was brilliant, and the OG Beyblade I just find so much better than anything that.
These are
afterwards.
all brilliant shouts, guys. Honestly.
All right, so I'm gonna go with 5. Number 1, Ed, Ed and Eddie. Brilliant show.
Hello, Ed, boys.
Hello, Ed boy.
Eddie, I can't sleep. I keep thinking, why do my feet smell if they don't have a nose?
I love it. I love it so much.
That was a brilliant episode. Yeah, like one of my favorite.
Oh, dork!
Dorks!
Oh, God.
Just don't watch Meat Canyon's video parody of Ed, Ed,
The
and
thing
Eddie.
I love about Ed, Ed, and Eddie is where the hell were the parents in all of this?
That's where that theory of them being trapped in purgatory came from, because you cannot see
they
the
were all
parents.
dead.
Yeah, and then the last season kind of ruined it by showing the parents' hands and stuff. But then, there was that episode when they build a city, not on rock and roll. You'd be glad to hear.
Mate, I'm going to ban you from your own podcast if you mention that again. Don't do it.
Yeah, so... And they had cardboard cutouts of people, but like Johnny, I don't. That kind of made me think that Johnny had some sort of like schizophrenia.
There's the Welsh coming out of you in there.
Schizophrenia or something like that, because like he could look at the cardboard cutouts and go ah. Oh no, it was Jimmy actually. Maybe he has that as well, because he. Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh is another one. I watched Yu-Gi-Oh all the time.
That would be seriously on the fringes of my top 5, I would say. I was heavily into it to start with, and then I kind of stopped watching it as the series went on. It happens with a lot of like Pokemon as well. I was heavily into the first couple of series of Pokemon, and then I just sort of drifted away from it.
Yeah. Kenan and Kel, that's another one.
I mean, that's not really a cartoon show, is it? But you can't deny.
All right, let's.
I think we're going to stick strictly to cartoon shows. But Keenan and Kel, who loves orange soda?
I love orange soda. Here it goes.
It's amazing how you just remember things like that. I can't remember like certain holidays I went on as a kid, or like certain things I did at school as a kid.
Yeah,
but I can always remember the shows I watched.
Yeah. I could cheat and put South Park in there, because I was even watching some South Park episodes when I was younger as well, and I just never grew tired of South Park. But if we're talking about actual kids,
I think specifically shows for kids,
then Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends is another good one, because they always had some fun stories to put in there. Tom and Jerry, can't go wrong with Tom and Jerry.
We're in a bar in Riga, me and my cousin and my cousin's mates, and this was like a shots bar, and in the background of this shots bar in Latvia, in Riga, they were showing Tom and Jerry cartoons on a loop, and it was amazing. It was like, brought me right back to my childhood.
Yeah, and the last one I'll mention is Digimon. Oh yes.
Yeah, that's Michael's favourite in the chat, apparently.
I love Digimon so much. Like, I think the 3rd season was my favourite. Usually people like the 2nd season the most, but there was just something about the 3rd season that really, like, it was made it more.
That was sort of
the
kind of the. It was always a trilogy for me of Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Pokemon.
Yeah.
And Pokemon, for me, it went Pokemon, then Yu-Gi-Oh, and then Digimon was kind of the 3rd kind of outcast brother, that I kind of caught occasionally, but I never really was super invested in it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember buying the video cassette for Pokemon the Movie 2000, and at the start of that, they had an episode of Tom and Jerry on it where Tom got chicken pox. Do you ever remember that episode? That was quite a frightening episode, because...
Oh, yeah. Where he was like, at the, it was Jerry that got chicken pox, I think. And Tom was afraid of catching it.
No, yeah.
Tom... at the very end of the episode, he was like, he saw he was that he was handling Jerry in his hand, and Jerry had chickenpox. And then he frantically rushed to the medicine cupboard and was just swallowing all the drugs in
Oh
sight.
yeah, I was like, fuck.
It was dark, man, for a kid's
That was the
show.
dark moment, and the other dark moment was when he froze him to try and cure him, and then he roasted Tom alive, because I think it was neat. He just turned the thermostat up, and Tom was like bright
It was
red.
violent, man. It was one of the inspirations for Itchy and Scratchy, of course, in The Simpsons.
Yeah, I think it parodies that, doesn't it? How violent.
Yeah. And Roddy's saying his lead singer brought a DVD of Tom and Jerry on in the tour van out on the last. Fantastic, mate.
Yeah, I had a fad of
Some people have groupies and cocaine. Roddy's band has Tom and Jerry DVD watch-alongs.
Yeah. So yeah, I had, in terms of Pokemon, I had which films did I have? I had the first movie. I had 2000. I had the third movie, and then that was about it. I remember. Do you remember the Digimon movie?
No, I never watched
Strange,
the Digimon movie. Like I said, I wasn't really a big Digimon guy.
They try to make it into a feature film by combining 3 small films into one big one, and it just it was just weird. I remember. Do you remember the cartoon Angela Anaconda?
Yes, I do vaguely.
They had a teaser before the movie came on for them coming into the theater and watching Digimon, and it was just like the strangest thing I had watched. It was kind of frightening to see as well. Because it was just cutouts of kids' faces stuck on and then animated. It was really odd, and then their faces tinted like blue or red or something like that. And Punk Drum mentioned Yu-Gi-Oh, where they would get sent to the Shadow Realm. But then you look on YouTube later and you see the differences where you got the guards actually holding guns instead of just pointing at a character.
I never bought the Yu-Gi-Oh cards, really. Every time I bought Pokemon cards at school and we traded Pokemon cards, the other kids would always say to me, "Oh no, that's a fake. You can tell because it's got the 2 dots in the corner or something." And I'm like, oh.
I don't.
Even back then, people I was just confused by trends and fads, and felt like an outcast.
Yeah, with the Yu-Gi-Oh cards, I remember people just going through my deck and they were like, "Oh, let's have a look at your cards then." And I'd be like, "Okay, crap." Oh,
Yeah, I know. Right?
All right, I'm having them back now. Fuck off.
It was all about those card games were all about belittling other kids for not having good enough cards.
And I had this spell card called Wave Motion Cannon, and it was you place it face up, and every turn it gets a counter put on it, and then once you remove it off the field, you inflict life points to your opponent based on the amount of counters times 1,000. And this guy would not leave me alone, trying to get me to trade it with him, and it was just in the end I was like, all right, if I trade it with you, will you shut up? But I regret doing that now.
So just to wrap up your favorite cartoon series. So you've got, what did you say? You had Digimon. You had
Yu-Gi-Oh,
and
Ed, and Eddie.
Ed and Eddie.
Yeah.
Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Right. So there's one more you can have.
Teen Titans.
Yeah, that's a solid list. To be fair. Mine would personally be, and Murray Mann mentioned it earlier on, but it has to be said, the Batman animated series, the original one from the mid-90s, with Mark Hamill's Joker and Kevin Conroy's Batman, who's still my favourite ever Batman.
Yeah.
And my favourite ever Joker, respectively.
Yeah, back then...
Is just one of the greatest TV series in general, let alone cartoon kids shows ever.
Yeah.
And then following on from that, can I have Batman the Animated Series and Justice League as one? Because they're basically the same, it's in the same universe with the same actors, So.
Is it written by the same person, though?
Well, it has the same actors and the same animation style.
Okay, I'll allow it.
But those, which I was just all over those. In fact, even at the beginning of the first lockdown, I was just binge watching Justice League episodes and Justice League Unlimited episodes. Sadly, you can't find many of them anymore on the internet.
Yeah.
I had to search far and wide to see if there were any episodes out there of Justice League. And I don't think they have DVDs of them either.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
Like I remember watching the old Spider-Man series on Fox Kids. But that was, when I look at that now, it's very badly put together because just the dubbing for it is doesn't feel that natural. So Batman definitely has it won over. So I wish I tuned into the Batman at that time rather than Spider-Man.
Yeah. Can you do your Joker again? Your Mark Hamill Joker. It's very good.
Hello, operator. It appears I've been disconnected.
I love it. That was when we were at Download 2016.
Yeah.
And we were all a bit drunk and sitting around the table, and KB was just doing various impressions of like Solid Snake and.
Pretty tasty.
That was great. So I'm going to count that as one, if you permit me, because it's just a part of the DC animated universe.
Still only
I
counts as one.
haven't seen the original Superman series or anything, but Batman just, anything to do with that.
Okay. Cheers, my Murray man.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Yu-Gi-Oh as well. Even though I kind of, like I said, I ended up out of the loop with it completely.
Yeah.
Just for the theme tune alone.
Mm-hmm.
With Yu-Gi-Oh, the theme tune's just absolutely brilliant. Always gets me pumped.
Yeah.
With that bass line in the middle, I want to learn that bass line. The kind of
It definitely had the theme tune to GX Beat by a landslide. Did you ever hear that theme tune?
No, I didn't. Well, it was the same thing.
No, it was like pop rock, and it was like chilling out with the crew at the schoolyard, finding trouble, never looking too hard.
Yeah, you're right, Pun Drop. It's time.
Generation X.
Oh,
yeah.
Brilliant.
The first theme tune was brilliant.
Cartoon shows. Samurai Jack.
Yeah.
Samurai Jack. Well, the original run of Samurai Jack, I was obsessed with that.
Yeah.
Like I haven't watched a revival of it.
I always loved the Scottish side character from it.
Oh man, Samurai Jack was just genius, and actually it won an Emmy as well.
Yeah,
I believe it was genius because there was so little. It was like an Akira Kurosawa movie or something, like a kind of old school Japanese silent movie.
Yeah,
and it was really violent as well. But instead of like blood, they had like they realized the loophole. They wanted to show violence, obviously cartoon violence, but the studio didn't want blood. So to get around that, they always had Jack every episode fighting robots and things. And it would be like engine oil spilling out of them as he, disemboweled them.
Yeah.
It was fantastic,
And
there was so little dialogue, which is easy to put off kids.
Yeah.
If there's no dialogue,
And they kind of replicated that in the 2D version of Star Wars Clone Wars as well, because that was written by the same guy, I believe. And
they had to use they always had like mini kind of episodes in between each show on Cartoon Network that were like 5 minutes long, if that. And they're like, tune in next time to see the next chapter of the Clone Wars. And that was a hard one to keep up with, because as much of a big Star Wars fan I was back then, when the prequel trilogy first came out, I just couldn't be bothered with it. It was just too much of an extended lore, which was odd, really, for me in retrospect, because I loved Star Wars at the time and I loved cartoon shows.
Mm-hmm.
So why that didn't end up being my favorite show, I just don't know. I'll probably give it a watch again.
Yeah.
At some point. So there's that.
Just one minor shout while you're thinking. Mucha Lucha. I remember that one.
Do you remember Ultimate Muscle?
Yeah.
That was fun to watch.
Because it was in Japan, wasn't it? It was called like Kaneko Man Legacy or something like that.
Yeah.
Because it was the original cartoon was.
And again, a
Kaneko
theme
Man.
tune that just doesn't leave your head. With the sex jazz music, as OSW would call it.
It's the cow and rice song. It's like, with my rice, I like to have some cow, cow, cow. It tastes so very good, I don't know how. It's my special morning chow, chow, chow.
Well, actually, I wouldn't
eat now.
I wouldn't put Ultimate Muscle in there, to be fair, because it was a ridiculous show. I caught episodes sporadically here and there. I think I'm gonna count The Simpsons
Yeah.
because the first 8 series at least that was always shown on Sky One or even BBC had it back in the day.
Mhm.
There was just they're timeless. What can you
And
say about them?
What I
You know?
love about The Simpsons is how much variety each episode has in them. You know, you can have that general funny episode, or you can have like a very like sad but true kind of story. You know, like with what's his name, who gets the guy with glasses who works with Homer, and he's just always blamed. He works harder than Homer, but is blamed for everything. That's one of my favorite episodes.
Oh man, Dragon Ball Z. How did we forget about Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah. That I mean, I still don't know why as a kid I like Dragon Ball GT as well. Because, like, you look at it now and it doesn't hold up.
No. I mean, that was, again, it was one of those things that I caught really sporadically.
Yeah.
You know? There was never a series, there wasn't many cartoon series really that I sunk my teeth into heavily. In all honesty, this answer might surprise you, but probably Rugrats would be the other one.
No, I mean, I watched quite a bit of Rugrats, and then I also watched All Grown Up as well.
If you look back at it, there was some great dry humor in that. You mentioned the dry humor of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends earlier, but like when Stu is in the kitchen making chocolate pudding for Angelica while they're looking after her, and Dee Dee comes down and is like, "It's 4 o'clock in the morning, Stu. Why are you making chocolate pudding?" "Because I've lost control of my life."
Yeah, and that's something you wouldn't get as a kid, but when you look at it as an adult,
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
And the animation, I like the animation, you know, the Klasky Kasupo animation style.
Why have none of us mentioned SpongeBob or Fairly Odd Parents?
Oh, Fairly Odd Parents. Yeah, that's a shout, actually, come to think of it.
Yeah, I loved, like, to this day, I think, I want to do a list on YouTube of top 10 things Timmy should have wished for. That would be a good shout.
Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
Oh,
that
yeah,
one as well.
yeah. Destroy us all! Destroy us all!
There's probably so many random ones that we could think of in the back of my mind. I might actually have to bring up a list just to see if there's any glaring ones that we've forgotten.
There were quite a few stinkers as well. I remember there was one called My Gym Partner's a Monkey, and I think the name alone just put me off. Camp Lazlo as well. It didn't really have anything new to add to it. They put one on Toonami, I think it was called Home Movies, and it was just like this very poorly drawn and animated improvised thing, and it just didn't really last that long. I remember the Pink Panther show as well. I used to watch that.
Yeah, it was old school, like the Flintstones I loved as well.
Yeah, Flintstones is classic.
Things like that, you know, old school cartoons, really.
Yeah. I love Barney to bits. I also remember like the Tiny Toon Adventures and Animaniacs. They were good as well.
Animaniacs, man!
What they got away with
that
in
was
that,
a fantastic show.
Yeah, I never got into.
I actually think Animaniacs. I might put mine as my number 5. You know.
Yeah, it was
just genius.
I never managed to get into Freakazoid though, because that was the third cartoon, but it wasn't shown to me.
Well, that's Danny Phantom. That was the other one.
I didn't watch enough of that, to be honest, because I don't know. I just didn't watch enough of it. There was ones on Disney like American Dragon. I loved Phineas and Ferb as well. That was another good one.
Yes, they did.
Recess.
Roddy.
Recess.
They did get away with some risky jokes. I think one of the most. I mean, some of the ones that came like when Wacko had like a chicken in his hand or something, and there's a pilgrim that came up to him, and it was some sort of historical episode, and the pilgrim was like, "Give me the bird," and Wacko was like, "We'd love to, but the Fox censors wouldn't allow it."
I remember.
How did they get away with that in a kids show?
One I remember in Powerpuff Girls was when they make that new friend, and she's like, how were you guys born? And it's like, the professor created us in a lab by accident. And then she just goes, "Don't worry, Professor, I was an accident too."
Oh yeah, I remember that.
It was brilliant.
Powerpuff Girls was actually brilliant.
And then
as well.
And in Dexter's lab, where on her arse it reads Dad's trophy. Do you remember that?
I love it. I love the little risky adult humor that animators surreptitiously put into their kids shows sometimes.
Yeah.
Utterly brilliant. I mean, we could go on and on and on and on, right? We probably have to going to. I mean, I'm going to say my to round off my fifth one. I'm going to stick with Rugrats, I think, for now. It's probably going to change next week. You know, it's impossible because when you're a kid, you soak up so many cartoon shows. As you know, because CBBC or Cartoon Network, they were always commissioning new shit all the time, and you would just be flicking through, say, "Oh, what's on today? Oh, this," and then you'd watch it and think it was brilliant, and then never watch it again.
Yeah,
but it would still stick with you. You know.
Yeah. I remember, Rosie also pointed out the Cramp Twins. Yeah, I mean, there was only one good episode I can think of in that, and that was the one where it was called Pick It, Pick It, just because of the twist at the end. But besides from that, it was just...
Cramp Twins was very much a...
Crap Twins.
You just come home from school.
Yeah.
And you put on CBBC, and then that's what's on.
I mean, I've never seen a guy with blue skin be into junk that much, or like a swamp next door, and he's and a city.
It was a weird show for sure.
Soaps. It's called Soap City, and they celebrate soap falling from the sky, which I thought it was snow back in the day, but it's actually soap. And you're like, what the hell is going on?
Some of the theme tunes to these shows, that could be a whole different category that we can cover in a future podcast. But some of the theme tunes to these kids' shows, they've just never left my head. I mentioned Ultimate Muscle, Teen Titans. Cramp Twins theme still crops up occasionally. And what was the other one? You know that one about the baby being an alien, and only the two kids can see that the baby is an alien. That cartoon show.
I don't know.
Preparing the earth for invasion. What are we gonna do? What is the bloody name of that show?
I only know about Invader Zim, but that's not
Invader Zim. No, that's not it. Powerpuff Girls End theme, which was of course done by Scotland's own Biss. If you know them, Roddy, that was a cracking theme. Obviously, both Powerpuff Girls. You know, the opening of it, even though it was an instrumental, was still super great.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean. We're happy to...
We could go on and on and on and on and on about it, you know.
Yeah. So,
really good.
I mean, let's move on. We've got just a little bit more to cover, and then that's about it for us.
Shall we quickly cover Beez's... he's doing this 6-6 live thing now.
Yeah, of course. If we do that, though, then we'll have to omit I think we'll have to omit the segment after the listen to this.
Is there another segment?
There was supposed to be the Daft... thing, you know, the Daft.
Oh debate. Yeah, well that we could have that after as a quick thing after the listen to this segment, I think. But it's only going to be brief. Basically, I was on. B's got a bunch of us on last night onto Mosh Talks to talk about gigs and what is our favorite, least favorite, loudest, most surprising, most recent gigs we've all seen. Man, like it was so fun just listening to everyone's stories. Particularly, I loved Roddy's stories about the punk rock shows he's been to. I love Pete's stories about like he saw Rage Against the Machine and Tool in 1993 for £7.50.
Nice.
I mean, you know, it's brilliant. I'm hoping you're going to get on there, KB, to talk about yours.
I know. B said that like even though New Music Saturday is up tonight, I think he did say that it was going to happen after New Music Saturday. So hopefully then.
But like obviously I went on as well to talk about. For me, the star of the show is always Greg. Like he's just the way he tells stories and the colloquialisms he uses. And how in depth and passionate he gets, and how he always leaves bees in stitches, just always makes my evening.
Yeah,
everyone was superstars on that, and Greg is just the cherry on top of the cake, and it's so brilliant to have him as the last caller last night.
Yeah, it makes me think that we should have like a sort of phone-in thing for the podcast at some point.
Yes, and as Michael rightly points out, my dad walked in on me as I was doing this, my live interview with Bees,
Yeah.
basically saying, keep it down, sort of thing.
Shut the fuck up. Oh, it's not as bad as Katie walking in and saying it smells in here. If you remember.
Yeah, you turn around and you're like, I'm live. You know? That was so funny.
I was trying to keep that secret.
Happens to the best of us, you know.
Yeah.
It didn't actually look that bad when I watched it back, although you
Yeah.
can see him kind of peering in, thinking, "Oh, what's he doing now?" You know.
Yeah.
But it was, it's always great. I think 6-6 Live is one of the best ideas Bees has put forward for Mosh Talks, personally.
Yeah, because
I can't wait for more.
It makes Friday and Saturday have a differentiation besides from just showing new music on Friday and some favorites on Friday, and then Saturday's completely new music. So it's a nice contrast.
Yeah. Oh, Roddy's dad was asking about how the interview went. Yeah, Roddy actually he put forward a story about when they saw Roxy Music live.
Yeah.
With Brian Ferry, and he said it's one of the worst, most disastrous gigs he's ever been to. And his dad actually walked out with him afterwards and was like, "That wasn't very good, was it, son?" That made me laugh, Roddy. That was a great story.
Yeah.
But it's just brilliant to see all, that we have. I know I mentioned this last week, but the fact that we have this kind of blooming, growing community amongst the Mosh Squad, and they've all got their little idiosyncrasies that, and tales to tell that we all enjoy hearing and stuff is brilliant, and I'm so glad that loads of us have taken up streaming as well.
Yeah. So I think, hopefully I'll be on tonight. We'll see how it goes. And
we'll see how it goes. Unfortunately, I am going to have to miss New Music Saturday this evening, because tonight I forgot. Me and my family we're going to start cooking for each other again in a kind of come dine with me style, and it's my turn tonight. Mm-hmm. So tonight I'm doing like a steak and chips type deal with chocolate fondue for afterwards. Okay. So hopefully, unlike my lemon squares, I'm not going to forget to put chocolate in the chocolate fondue, as I forgot to put lemon in the lemon squares for last time. But yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a shame because Bees in the Secrets tab, he told me that there was a song tonight on New Music Saturday that was going to be right up my alley. And I'm going to have to watch the VOD, I guess, to see see how it goes.
Yeah. Okay. Just before we move on to listen to this, I do need to make a quick toilet break, unfortunately, because I am really trying.
All right. Well, I guess I could talk a bit more about 666 Live last night. Yeah, you go off and then put me full screen. How about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. That will be. There you go. You can hear me, right. But
enjoy your break,
Rob.
Yeah. So 666 Live is always a blast, and it's like I said, it's really great to hear from everyone. I loved Michael, your story about taking your mum to your first gig was seeing Metallica with your mum on her birthday. That was awesome. And I don't know. My one about seeing Bam Margera's Fuckface Unstoppable at Sonosphere 2014. It really was quite bad, and I do feel for him, at the time. That was just a glaring one that stood out. I can't really think of any other bands that I've seen. There's been bands that I mentioned, obviously the worst band I've seen. I didn't mention much else, but there have been bands that I've seen that have kind of had technical difficulties with their sets. So when I first saw Real Big Fish, for example, it was a great show. This was at Sonosphere 2014 as well, ironically. But the sound, they were playing without vocals for like the first couple of songs until they got back into gear. And then when I saw L7, I think that was the most, I don't want to say disappointing because that makes it come off as really negative, but it was just so unfortunate that for most of L7 set at Download 2018, you could not hear what Danita was singing for the most part. But I still love it, L7. They're like one of my favorite, probably my favorite all-female act, and definitely one of my favorite grunge bands of all time. It's yeah. To answer your question, Murray, man, I'm cooking steaks tonight. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Although, like I said, it does mean unfortunately I'm gonna miss New Music Saturday. By the way, I have been hanging out a lot in Stay Puff's stream as well, and it's been like super rewarding for me musically. He's got me into a bunch of bands, one of whom I'm gonna play a song of for the listen to this segment after this. But that man, he's got me into some bands that I've never even heard of. That Comatose album from that song that I played last week for KB. That album was fantastic. Laura, one thing that springs to mind is when you saw Cult Dreams support Milk Teeth. Their in-ears didn't work for the whole set. That sucks, mate. Yeah, Cult Dreams are proper good, actually. I really like them. I saw them at the Horn supporting Milk Teeth and Nervous, and I thought they were pretty good. Yeah, it's a shame that sound didn't work out for you. I don't know. I'm trying to think really. There's plenty of local bands that I've seen that are, pretty bad, but I'm not going to put anyone on the spot. It's just one of those things, really. And KB's back.
Hello. So that makes it better, so people don't have to see my arse when I walk out the room.
Yeah, in-ears not working. That's actual nightmare material for me, says Roddy. Yeah, I don't actually wear in-ears for my gigs. I wear earplugs because our drummer is just so loud. He's I mean, I also like in-ears, I guess. I've never tried in-ears, but the fact that in-ears can fail and everything, and you're kind of left with not being able to hear your own sound, It's just I don't know. I'd rather stick to earplugs at this point. Maybe when we get like more money under our belt, we'll invest in some in-ears and things. Our guitar player Leon, he has one of those what do we call it? Like radio cables that attach to your amp, and wireless cables that attach to your amp and your guitar, which I've been thinking about investing in myself, but there's always a danger that it's suddenly going to cut off mid-set, which is like my biggest fear. I don't even mind playing badly or playing like the wrong notes or whatever. My biggest fear is that if I start playing and something comes unplugged and you can't hear me. That's like the worst,
All right, so with that all said and done, let's and my bowels vacated.
And speaking of music and listening to stuff, let's get on to the listen to this segment.
Yep. So, Rob,
yes, sir.
Have you heard of a Swedish progressive metal group, supergroup, consisting of various extreme metal musicians known as Soen?
I have heard of them.
Mm-hmm.
I've never listened to them, but I know that their album came out quite recently.
Yeah, so this band has consisted of former Opeth drummer Martin Lopez, who's also ex-Death and Testament, and Sadist bassist known as Steve DiGiorgio, and then Willow Tree is the vocalist. Wait, what? Oh, sorry. Willow Tree vocalist Joel Eklov is in there, and the guitarist is Kim Platbarzis. I always struggle with these foreign surnames. I apologize. So their music has been described as like melodic, heavy, intricate, very different from everything else. And from what I've heard, that definitely rings true. They definitely got that sort of operatic approach to progressive sort of heavy style, and you'll hear that in this song. So, with that said, they recently released their new album Imperial a few weeks ago, and from what I can say, it might be up there as one of the albums of the year. Possibly, depends what comes out later, but I've got high hopes for it so far. So the song that I want you to listen to for today is known as Lumerian. So if you want to get that queued up.
Yes. So, yeah, first track on the album.
First track on the album, and it's like one of the perfect openers for the album as well, I would definitely say.
Cool. All right. Well, I have it queued up anyway.
All right. Bear with me. My Spotify's being very
See, I've taken to using Amazon Music now because I've gone off Spotify Premium for a few months to save a bit of money.
Yeah.
And I have a free trial of Amazon Music. So,
all right. When in doubt, bear with me a second.
actually, also in the meantime, I'm going to see there's a wiki. I very much doubt there is a wiki page for the band I've got for you.
Yeah.
Oh, there is. Oh, that's good. Okay. Well, we'll get onto that afterwards. But yeah, so this band is Soen. Like, is it Soen or Cern?
I'm not too sure. Possibly soon. I could have totally butchered
Cern.
that. I'm sure someone in the YouTube comments
soon
will.
we are going to listen to this song.
Soon. All right. So after three. 1, 2, 3, and go.
Oh. Riffage.
That immediately hooked me.
Ooh.
And his voice is quite piercing as well, isn't it? It's got a bit of Tool essence to it as well.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
By my side, you may close your eyes, and I'll be your guidance. Come suffering, let me be your medicine. Lay your hopes on me. We're hunting blind and aimless, embracing gods to feel their light. We fell from grace right into the unknown. I believe that in the end we could be something
Nice.
more. But every trace of who we are is gone. Still I hope we
I didn't expect this vocal style of this band. I figured it would be mostly growls, you know?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but his vocals are solid.
how we surrender for the endless greed.
Sounds like it's been trained classically.
Nothing to prevent its fear.
Very kind of elements of Catatonia, I think, in this as well. And maybe a bit of Opeth, you know, Michael's cleans in Opeth.
Yeah.
But that's some gnarly riffage. Really cool.
Open eyes, unveil the disguise.
Very kind of gothic sounding, you know?
Friendly imposters who lures you in, wearing a warm-hearted grin to leech off your veins.
I love that panning as well.
Oh, that little slight pinch harmonic there.
We are done
I'm always a sucker for pinch harmonics in a riff.
feeding the machine, losing trail of our only home. We're hunting blind and nameless, embracing gods to feel their light. We fell from hope right into the unknown.
I could just fall asleep to this.
Yeah, it's just this part kind of it's almost Joe Satriani-esque, this bit. With this solo. Makes it feel epic though, you know.
But the songwriting is genius in this song, I think.
Almost has a Troy Sanders kind of element to his voice as well. The kind of bellowy element of Troy Sanders' vocals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In my opinion, anyway.
Yeah. There we go. So that was Lumerian by
Soen. Let's just call him Soen.
Yeah. What did you think of that?
Yeah, it was cool. I like the main riff at the beginning. His vocals, like I said, have got a very kind of warm, gothic kind of feel in the vein of like they're from Sweden, right? You said
They are, yes.
Yeah, you could absolutely tell they're from Sweden because it was reminiscent. His vocals of like Catatonia, who are also Swedish, and Opeth, who are also Swedish.
Yeah,
really, really cool stuff.
Yeah, so they've been
definitely kind of gothic, slightly gothic undertones to that. You know.
Yeah. So they were their first album was released on Spine Farm Records back in 2012.
Oh, same label as my boys.
Yeah. So they've like in terms of other labels, they've been part of Silver Lining Music since then. And to be honest, they've only been active they've been active since 2012. So it sounds like they are, they've solidified the sound a lot more with this album, and you can see that just in this is the starting song, and it really introduces the song really strongly. So it's it's good to see.
Oh, I'll probably check that album out for sure.
Yeah,
it's an ever-growing list already of albums for 2021, and
I'm trying to keep up with
it already. It's hard. It is hard to keep up with.
I always follow that Loudwire list that I think I sent into your stream, your Discord, because they usually have like a wide array of ones, whereas like Spotify have been crap at the moment with new metal albums. They just the last one they've got is still that Asphyxia album, which came like 4 weeks ago. So it's like, get with the time, Spotify.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. Soen.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
All right.
Right. So my one for you, KB. Whilst we're on the subject of gloomy, kind of dark bands, do you know a band called the Ruins of Beverast?
I can't say that I do.
Okay, they are a German extreme metal project formed by Alexander von Meilenwald in 2003. And 5 albums have been released under the moniker. It's one dude, basically, this Alexander von Meilenwald. He's performed live with an expanded lineup under the band's name since 2013. However, apart from occasional appearances by session musicians, he continues to perform all instruments and vocals on the band's studio material.
Wow.
And yeah, this lot, I never heard of them before. Stay Puft Mallow. Again, that man introduced me to them last night, as a matter of fact. And this track that he played really, really stood out to me. This comes from their 6th studio album, which is called The Full Grimoires. Right? TH. I can't do THs very well, so I apologize. And I have a louder sound interview here, or review here, sorry. It says that the Ruins of Beverast are always in a forward-reaching state, pushing long-form extreme metal compositions into often previously unexplored realms for exciting genre blurring. With each release, the German band's master composer Alexander von Marlenwald appears to have reached a creative zenith, and yet by the next album, this instinctive multi-instrumentalist ascends to another plane altogether and eclipses what he achieved prior. The full Grimoires continues the progressive pattern from the last studio album Exuvia in spectacular fashion, drawing heavily this time on goth, new wave, trance, industrial, post-punk, and dark ambient. Each monumental, tonally rich, cohesive, yet utterly distinctive track offers the listener an enthralling escape from the harsh modern realities. Pulsing guitar cycle in dense waves as blast beats and mechanically charged flares erupt. Essentially, this particular song, Kromlec'h Knell, it offers perhaps what they call the first ever Ruins of Beverast anthem. It's a zero-like death doom / post-punk amalgam that recalls a terminally depressed Torch or typo negative push to sanity's frayed edges. So there we go. That's what I'm going to say about it for now.
Okay. Just waiting.
It's just going to be an interesting experience. I only really listened to this song once last night. Wonder if it's going to hold up today as good as I found it last night.
Okay. Is it 8 minutes 25?
It is 6 minutes long, but this one of the shorter tracks on this album. It's 6 minutes 21. In fact, it is the shortest track. Oh no, sorry, you're right. It is 8 minutes 33. I'm looking at the one below it. Yeah, 8 minutes 33. So put the kettle on.
All right,
it's a long song.
All right, let's go for it.
Right, so 3, 2. This song is called the Kromlec'h Knell.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
Start again. Sorry.
Come on, mate. Seriously. Right.
You didn't give me a chance. I need to
I
say I'm
said
ready.
3, 2, 1, go.
I'm just trying to transition. Right. Let's.
Right. Okay. So, Kromlec'h Knell by Ruins of Beverast. 3, 2, 1, go.
Quite doomy. Lighters in the air.
Do you like that kind of Sisters of Mercy style low drawl from him?
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. One that you gotta digest, I find.
Oh yeah. Well, it is 8.5 minutes long, so.
That must say a lot.
But that's those swirling synths in the background as well. I think it's a really nice touch. Adds something different, you know.
Sounds quite distorted as well. Like a sort of Electric Wizard sort of thing to it.
Yeah.
I like the lead as well.
Bear in mind, this is one guy as well doing all of the instruments himself. It's quite impressive, really.
Yeah, he has to write all of it. Oh, what's gonna happen? Shame.
It's like you're in the mines of Moria or something, you know,
Yeah.
and the Balrog is just creeping up on you. Reminds me of the kind of more ambient bits of Typo as well. There's going to be a lot of comparisons to Typo, I think, in this, but
Yeah, I
kind
can
of
definitely hear
points
that.
in the songs, you know, when Typo kind of went off in a tangent and didn't stick to one particular hook, and it just was really eerie and atmospheric.
Yeah.
That's what this reminds me of. And yeah, the vocals are very much Torch. These particular vocals, I would say, very reminiscent of Torch. I love that clean, chorusy guitar over the top of the
Yeah.
harsh sounding riffs.
Yeah, it's very
It's a nice
doomy.
contrast.
Yeah, like I said, it's the leads that win it for me. There, I can hear the Mastodon in you.
Yeah, I was just about to say Mastodon. That kind of Curl of the Burl type riff underneath.
Yeah. Or anything off Remission.
Yeah, yeah.
For reason, Heston Blumenthal. This song is making me think like a zombie's creeping up on me. Like I'm hearing things.
Very, very occulty, I think, as well. Kind of, you would sing this at an incantation of some sort.
One of us, one of us.
to invoke some sort of monolithic Goliath, you know. Particularly this end bit, you know, this is like the orcs at the gates of Minas Tirith. Going,
Yeah.
Grond.
Fight the halfling.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So that was Kromlec'h Knell from the Ruins of Beverast from their album The Full Grimoires, which was released on February 5th, so yesterday. What are your feelings on that, KB?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination. I just think it's Doom, like that sort of Doom sort of style is something I still need to get my head around, because I like the sort of progressive route of things. So it's
Yeah.
you know,
Do you think it was a bit too slow for your taste?
like it was like normally when I listen to Doom, I find it a bit more boring than usual, but that wasn't. It had the nice leads, and it had some interesting transitions and things, and that like we said, that bit at the end, which really it was a good highlight from it. So at the moment, I think it's something that I think I've got to grow myself into. But like I said, not bad by any stretch of the imagination at all.
Yeah. I just thought that was really interesting. I think it probably works better in the whole context of the album, you know?
Yeah.
Because like the article says, each track is kind of varies from one track to the next, you know?
Okay.
So who knows? So the article was saying that this guy's crafted a singular piece of work using a vast array of idiosyncratic influences in meticulously focused, daring, and transformative ways.
Mm-hmm.
This is the most important Ruins of Beverast LP to date. So, you know, I will listen to it in the context of the rest of the album, just see how it holds up. But I thought it was a striking tune that I listened to last night, which I thought I'd pick. So there you go.
All right, sounds good.
Ruins of Beverast.
I'll have to check out the album afterwards, and we'll see how that goes.
Cool.
All right,
Right
brilliant.
then, we're going to do our last segment now, and we've canned Would You Rather. I think for now. I think we just got to the point where we've run out of questions.
We got something that can potentially last longer, depending on how many topics we have. So we are possibly down the line. We're gonna possibly hope to get some suggestions as well to bring into it. But what we're dubbing this section is Daft Debates, and this is where we have some sort of silly argument, like say cats are better than dogs, for example. And then we flip a coin. The other person has to call it, and if they call it right, they get to choose whether they're for or against the argument. And if they call it wrong, then the other person has to choose for them. So simple as it gets, really. And then at the end of it, I think we give ourselves about 5 minutes to argue our case, and then at the end of it, you guys can judge who had the better case for their side of things. Sound good? So like sort of
sounds good to me.
Yeah,
Right then, so
I'm glad you got a coin because I didn't.
I've got a coin. Don't worry.
Wasted.
So what are we saying then? What's the topic first?
The topic is Bounty is a good chocolate bar.
It's not a topic. It's a bounty.
Yeah.
Hey.
Aye. Is that for or against?
So Bounty is a good chocolate bar, right? So essentially, we'll say heads is for and tails is against.
Right.
So right, KB, what are you going for then?
I am going for tails.
Right. So it's heads.
So I have to basically argue the case that Bounty is a good chocolate bar.
Yes.
Lovely. Can't wait.
I'm so glad that I've got the other end of it because I don't like bounties at all.
All right.
Well, I don't like coconut in general. If coconut is mixed in like in a kind of, you know, if there's not that much desiccated coconut in cereal, like in Country Crisp, for example, I'll forgive that, right? But if it's really, or if it's in a curry, you know, with a host of other flavors, But if it's like a really obvious coconutty taste, I can't get on board with it. It's just one of those things.
Well, to be
to
honest,
me.
I think any sort of thing, it can either be an instant taste or an acquired taste. And through anything that you've ever tasted, you can at least hold your nose and learn to like it. And if Bounty is still selling to this very day, whether you're down Tesco's or Sainsbury's, or even in your local Heroes box, then Bounty has got something to say for anyone that might want to skip it in the Heroes box. And then at least, even if you don't have that, at least you can possibly melt it so it is good for your chocolate cake. Yeah. And you can eliminate the coconut if you want to. However, I mean, coconut I don't think is too bad. It's more of, let's say we could enhance the taste of Bounty somewhat. Like, I don't know, I'm not a fan of strawberry chocolate, but how about like orange Bounty?
How are you not a fan? Oh my god, it's the best. Strawberry and chocolate.
Stick to the topic.
My god.
Stick to the topic. Bounty. So, I mean, what do you have to say to that? What do you think it would go good on a cake, Rob? Bounty?
Well, I don't think it. I mean, like, maybe it stems from the fact that when I was in an experiment to try and get my teeth whiter, I was brushing it with coconut milk.
Right.
And every time I did it, it was just horrible. Like, it has a kind of, I can't even describe the flavor. It's just, it's like sickly. It's like really like, it just shouldn't belong in chocolate. End of story. I don't think I can.
What I can say is, with the coconut, you can split it apart, and you can use just the coconut part to brush your teeth with, and then you can just have the chocolate part.
The hairs to floss with of the coconut.
Yeah. The coconut.
Like I'm on a desert island or something.
Yum. I love Bounty. Yum.
It's like I'm on a desert island or something, and I'm just...
You get hit. Yeah, desert island. Oh, I can't think of anything. How am I going to get off this island? Oh, ow. Bounty chocolate bar. So
yeah,
it can plow into your memory as well. So that's a good thing. You just have to require enough force for it to fall from the tree, I would imagine.
But the thing is as well, right? Why on earth, if you have other brilliant chocolate bars available, would you stoop so low as to go into your post office or something, or in Tesco, and pick up one of those instead, a Bounty?
That's why Bounty
ahead of like things like a Star bar or a Kit Kat or a Mars bar. You just wouldn't do it, would you?
That's why Bounties would be so good in an apocalypse when everybody's like raiding the supermarkets and there's nothing left but Bounties.
like if you're no food anywhere, I can imagine that in an apocalypse. You know, it's like that episode of The Simpsons where the police chuck Butterfingers into the fire and the fire rejects them. And Chief Wiggum's like, even the fire doesn't want Butterfingers.
I mean,
same thing with Bounties.
You've always got to have some.
Try and destroy them, and it's not gonna happen.
Like you always got to have some unpopular chocolate or some unpopular food in an array of good foods. Like you know, for cheese, it's the cranberry cheese. For milk, it's the gone off milk.
For pineapple, it's when it's put on pizza. So.
Exactly, you know, and you know that could be a debate later. But that's the thing; it can provide food for those who are running out of supplies. You ever seen that film, The Platform? Imagine if there was bounties on that table. Nobody would touch them except for the people at the bottom because they're so starving.
Yeah, it is a weird texture, by the way, Laura. Yeah, that's part of the reason I don't like it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I think we need to donate £2 a month to give to sponsor Bounty today, because as Roddy said, he throws out a lot of bounties that pass their sell-by date, and you just can't allow that to happen. That's like what Abercrombie and Finch did with their shirts. You can't just use and abuse. You got to use and consume.
Yeah.
Slogan. Boom.
All right.
I think we're
I mean, I don't really know who won this debate, to be honest.
Well, that's up to the commenter to decide.
It's up to the. I guess it's up to the YouTube comments, right?
Yes,
to decide,
exactly.
or wherever you're watching this. Right, we're going to call it there, I think. Thanks everyone for tuning in to the 25th episode of the Key Art Podcast. I can't believe we made it this far. KB, where can everyone find you, mate?
Yeah, so you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, here as Kieran Benji. Like to keep things simple by having loads of social media links. And my cover channel is called KB Kook, so there's the difference there. You can also access discord.me/Kieran Benji to get access to my Discord and join the club. And as for any upcoming projects, I'm currently in the works for a new Pokemon video. It's part of a series I've been doing of fascinating Pokemon inspirations, so I'm currently editing the Generation 4 episode. And then I've got a Valentine's Day video planned, and it's going to be one of my Reddit readings, but it's going to be a joint one of reading nice guys posts and crazy girls posts, because you got they all one big happy family, so that's going to be the theme. So maybe, I don't know if I'll have time to do it tonight, but I could shoot a video tomorrow in preparation, so there might be a bonus stream for that, so I'll keep you all updated. Cheers. What about you, Rob?
Well, RobV93 on Twitch. And I am aiming to do more song list covers, more Jackbox games, more potentially games of Among Us or Scriblio, all that good stuff. Also, I've got a kind of goal of sorts, or a proposition for everyone actually out there before we wrap up. If we ever get a hype train on my stream, I'm going to dye my hair.
Oh.
And I'm also going to put a poll up with different colours, and you can choose what colour you want me to dye it.
That weirdo with 5 colours in his hair.
It's only going to be one colour. It's not going to be multicolours at all.
Just be like, what?
Leopard print. I'm not going to go full Tiger King. Don't worry. It's. But I just figured we're in lockdown. We're not going anywhere. Why the fuck not?
Exactly.
And I might as well do it before all my hair falls out as well. So. It will inevitably do.
I've been begging Katie to shave my hair bald, and she won't do it. She doesn't want to see it. It gives her horrible flashbacks of when I shaved my beard bald one time, and she couldn't recognise me when she came home.
What, are you serious? You want to shave your hair?
Just for a joke, innit?
Well, yeah, I know. I don't know, but I can't imagine you as a skinhead. That would be strange.
Yeah.
Then again, I can't imagine myself as a skinhead either.
Skinhead and without any eyebrows. Because look at these bad boys.
I'm not going to go that far as a Twitch goal. But other than that, Rob Veriard on Instagram, where I post covers and things. Rob Veriard on SoundCloud, which I appreciate all the new follows, by the way, on SoundCloud, and all the feedback that you guys have given me. Any feedback, good or bad, is appreciated. Honestly, like even if you listen to them and never listen to them again, that it just means the world if you listen to my tunes on there.
Yeah.
Rob Veriard Music on Facebook. And finally, RobV93 on Twitter.
Okay, sounds good.
And even though I'll probably be absent from Twitter for a while because of things,
fuck Twitter at this point.
You're still bitter about them banning you.
Yeah, I just feel like getting myself banned on purpose. Who cares?
Yeah. Rob Veriard on YouTube as well. I am on YouTube. I keep forgetting. It's the first time I've ever plugged my YouTube channel, but I don't know. If you fancy trawling through some videos on there, then fair enough.
Oh yes. Just a last thing. Obviously we tried a new style out today. Let me know if you'd like us to continue doing it as well as tweaking it so it looks better and stuff. The different camera angles and camera scenes and things. It's adds some dynamic. And it's quite good. But if you wanted to just stay on the screen, let me know. I've got a status, a message up in my Discord saying yay or nay. So just you can react in there if to answer in the Keyard channel.
Right then. Yeah, again, thanks, lads. We're going to officially end the podcast here, I think. So, KB, if you want to sign off.
Thanks for watching. Give us love. And until next time, lights out.